Hey, hi everyone. Good morning. So, guys, as part of the today's session, we are going to see a brief overview on conditional statements. Okay, so as part of the conditional statements, we have a if else if, nested if, all these things. We will say all these things with an examples in the next few minutes. When exactly we can use these conditional statements means basically I want to execute some portion of a code based on an outcome of a certain condition. If this person age is greater than 18, then only allow him. If if your salary is greater than 10,000, then only you can apply for a loan. So these are the conditions. If user is logged in, then only perform the further operations like that. So these are the various types of conditional statements that we have. Right. So let us see a practical implementation of these conditional statements and how exactly the syntax looks like. So here I'm creating a new file with a name as a conditional1.ts. Okay, I've just created this conditional1.ts. And here let probably age, let us go with an age itself. This age, of course, it's a number, and the value that I am defining here is a 20. Okay, here instead of age, student age. Okay, let a student age, it's a number and it's greater than 20. The conditional syntax, basically, irrespective of any programming language, there is a defined syntax, guys. So the syntax here is I'm adding a multi-line comment for a readability purpose. If we need to specify the condition, if the condition is true, if the condition is true, then only execute the logic inside the if. If the condition outcome is true, then only execute the logic present inside the if block. So let us try to implement this particular condition. See here, we used student age as a variable, right? So here, if okay, if student age is greater than 18, okay, you are eligible for a vote. Okay, you are eligible to vote. That's what I have defined. So here, what exactly the condition that I am doing? If the student age is greater than or equal to, if you remember the yesterday's comparison, basically greater than or equal to. So the same comparison we are just using it here. Right now, save this program and let's try to execute this particular program. See here, you are eligible to vote. Consider that I have given the input number as a 10. Okay, save this program and when we run it, okay, when we run it, and if you look at the console, huh. Okay, if you look at the console, what just happened? You are eligible for the vote is the previous program. Okay, so the point here is if the condition is true, then only it will execute the logic present in the if block. See, the age is not greater than 18. The condition is a false. Here, as it is a false, there is a nothing to execute. Hence, it doesn't printed anything to the console. Here, we have a using just a if. If this condition is true, only execute it. We haven't specified any else block. Ideally, where we will be specifying an else block, if followed by an else means, if this condition is true, execute it. If this condition is a false, then execute it. So here, the syntax for this if else here is, okay, so I'm writing down here syntax for if else. And this one here that we have written is syntax for if. Okay, syntax for if. Okay, perfect. Let me correct these spellings. Okay, syntax for if and the syntax for if else. So here, if the condition is true, execute this logic, else execute the logic present in the else block. Okay, now here, this is example for if block. Now I'm creating an example for if else block. Okay, I'm creating an example for if else block. If student age is greater than or equal to 18, print you are eligible for vote, else you are not eligible for vote. So what it will happen is whenever it is checking this condition, if this condition got a failed, it will not enter into the if block, it will enter into the else block, and it will execute the content present in the else block. Okay, for the time being, I'm just commenting the initial piece of a code if condition that we have created. Now I want to execute the if else. If you look at the age, the input that we are giving is a 10. So here it will compare this condition 10 less greater than or equal to 18. It is false. Hence it will not go to the if block. It will go to the else block and it will execute it. Let me try to run this program. And see here, you are not eligible to vote. That's it. As simple as it is got a printed down to the console. So this is the way how exactly we can use an if block and how exactly we can use an else block. Simple guys, it will compare the condition based on the outcome of that particular condition itself. It will be performing the further operations. So here the next one is else if. So when exactly we can go with an else if? Okay, we'll see that particular point in a minute. And here, ideally, right, a kind of a question that comes in our mind. Surendra, we are checking only one condition. Can we check a multiple conditions? Yes, of course, we can do that. So here, I'm doing as conditional conditional 2.ts. Okay, I have just created the program. Let a, this is a number which is equal to 10, and so okay, maybe the first number. Okay, let second number and let third number. So here what I have done, I have defined three different numbers. Okay, three different numbers. Let me add a comment. So my objective is I want to identify the bigger number. So how this is going to work in a manual situations, we will check whether the first number is greater than second number, and also the first number is greater than third number. So whenever it is greater than these two, we can say that first number is bigger. Right? The first number is bigger when we will call it in this particular case. So when the second number is bigger, if the second number is greater than first, and also greater than third. The similar way, the third, whenever you are calling the third as a greater means it will compare with the first and as well as the second. So here we are gonna use two different comparisons. Okay, we are gonna use two different comparisons. If you remember about the logical operators that we have used, logical and see, basically it will compare the multiple expressions. When all the expressions output is a true, the overall condition outcome is a true. That's what we have studied in the previous sessions. So here, if what I am doing is the first number is greater than second number. Okay, the first number is greater than second number, and also the first number is greater than third number. Okay, so what I am asking is whenever this is greater than these two, in such a cases, console.log, the first number is bigger. Else followed by an if. Basically, this is what the else if that we have, the third one. This is what the else if is. If the second number is greater than first number, and the second number is greater than third number, then we are considering it as a second number is a big. See, basically out of three numbers, the first number is not big, The second number is a not big. Ultimately, the third number itself is a big. Hence, we are not comparing any condition directly. We are giving it as a else. Okay, directly we are giving it as a else. If you look at the current example, right, out of all these three, the third number is the bigger one. So when I run this particular program, and if you look at this particular console, the third is a bigger. So consider that I have changed my first number to 100, and when I run this particular program, the first number is a bigger. So whichever the way how exactly we are updating those numbers, the script is being updated. And another small rule that we need to consider here is, guys, basically in an if block, if there is a single liner code is there, the logic is there, instead of specifying the open brackets and a closed brackets, we can ignore it. We no need to specify that. Okay, so copy these lines of a code, put it here, and whatever the above lines of a code that we have created earlier, I'm commenting them. Okay, I just commented them. So now here, if this condition is true, we have a single liner logic. So I haven't specified the braces there, the open bracket and as well as a closed bracket. Simply, I just deleted all the open brackets and the closed brackets. Okay, it's up to you. So ideally, right, whenever there are a multiple conditions or multiple statements that it needs to execute, right, in such a cases itself, okay, in such a cases itself, we will be putting this particular stuff. Okay, we will be putting, this particular stuff. Okay, the braces. Okay, perfectly all right. And then the last one that we need to consider here is a nested if else, basically. So which means inside one if there is gonna be another if, inside the else there is gonna be the next one, like that, a nested type of a condition. So here what I'm gonna do right now is conditional 3.ts. I just created it. Let, okay, probably what we are gonna consider, employee salary. Okay, employee salary number 25,000. Okay, so here if salary is, okay, if salary is greater than or equal to, okay, if salary is greater than or equal to 20,000, you are eligible for the bonus. And let bonus amount bonus amount of a number is equal to, I'm gonna give your existing salary into 0.3%. Perfectly all right. And here what additionally I'm doing is, if your bonus amount is greater than 5,000. Okay, if your bonus amount is greater than 5,000, you are eligible. You are eligible for, you are eligible for shares. Okay, share options. Okay, terminate it. Okay, terminate it. Else you are not eligible for shares. So guys, if you clearly observe, based on the salary, we are performing one condition, and based on that, we additionally do this particular bonus amount calculation inside an if you have another further if that's being performing. Okay, this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. It's up to you what kind of a calculations, what kind of an amount that you want to deal with it. So let me run this particular program and check it out. You are eligible for bonus, and also you are eligible for share options. So this is the way how exactly we can use these conditional statements, if else if, and nested if. And a kind of a question that comes in our mind, Surendra, in a previous sessions you have explained about a ternary operator, and now you are explaining about a conditional statements, right? At the time of a ternary operator also we validated a condition, and based on that the expression is being executed. So a question out over here is, Probably, right? A question that comes in your mind: when can I use these conditional statements and when can I use the ternary operator? See, the simple point that we need to consider here is with respect to the ternary, if the logic that you want to execute is pretty small, then you can go with a ternary operator. Else, you will be going with the conditional statements itself. And can we add a multiple conditions in a single if? Yes, of course. We have seen in a simple example where we have added a multiple conditions in a single if. Okay, perfectly all right. That's all I have for this session. See you again in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye. Hey, everyone. As part of the today's session, we will be looking at switch statements. Basically, a switch case executes a block of a code. Okay, depending on the value for a given expression. Consider that a day. If the day value is a Monday, execute this piece of a code. If the day value is a Tuesday, execute this piece of a code. If the day value is Wednesday, then execute this piece of a code. So for a single variable, if there are a multiple sets of a values, right? In order to handle that, we will be using this particular switch. So here I'm using this particular one, example on switch dot ts. Okay, example on a switch dot ts. Let weekday of, okay, this is gonna be a string definitely, is equal to Monday. See, guys, if you remember, we have added a GitHub Copilot in the previous sessions, right? Whenever I'm trying to write something, right, automatically my Copilot is prompting me the things. See, in the line when I have a defined a weekday of a string Monday, automatically my Copilot is giving me suggestions. Buddy, you can use a switch on a weekday. I just performed a tab, and if the value is a Monday, execute this logic, add a break statement. If the value is a Tuesday, this one. See, I'm just pressing a tab operation, guys. So here for this switch case, I haven't done anything. I'm just pressing a tab operation. Automatically, my Copilot is putting everything for me. See here, I just pressed the tab for 5 to 6 times. The whole lines of a code got generated by my Copilot itself. For every case, it's a mandatory for us to add a break. See, basically, if you look at the syntax, for the switch, you will be giving a variable which has a multiple sets of values. Individual case represents the individual set of values. See, if this case value is a Monday, execute this piece of a code and break this, which is come out from this particular switch case. You no need to go further and you no need to perform anything. The reason is my actions got completed. If my day value is a Tuesday, execute this piece and come out. And the same way for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like that. So here we have a given input as Monday. Let me try to run this particular program. Save it. Let me try to run this program and check it out in the console. See here, today is Monday, got a printed. For suppose I have a given input as someday. Okay, if you look at these cases, right, we have a case for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We don't have any case for someday, but there is a default one. Okay, when I run it, so if you look at here, basically, okay, unexpected default. Just 1 second. Let me save it and let me run it once. Okay, let me run it once. So here the invalid day got a printed down to the console. So this is the way. Okay, so I haven't done anything. I just skipped to save it. And when I saved it, automatically it got executed successfully. So the point here is whenever you are giving something, the some value, which is not part of your cases, then it will go to the default block and it will execute the content present in the default block. Okay, it will go to the default block and it will execute the content present inside the default block. Okay, perfectly all right. Good. Done the deal. So this is all about the switch cases, guys. In the next session, we will see about a for loops. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Hey. Hi everyone, welcome back. So guys, as part of the today's session, I'm gonna talk about for loops. Loops, basically, if at all you wanna execute a piece of a code for multiple sets of a time, in such a cases, we will be using this for loops, guys. Okay, not only for loops, we have a while loop and as well as a for each loop, or any one of these loops can be used if at all you wanna execute a piece of a code for multiple sets of a time. The syntax is for followed by a variable declaration, specified by a condition, and followed by an increment or a decrement operation. So let us see a small example on this one. So example for one.ts. Okay, that's fine. So here, what I'm gonna do right now is let I number is equal to 1. Okay, I have a defined a number I equal to 1. So for I, okay, as I have already initialized it, I, and the condition here is I is less than or equal to 10, and I plus plus, we know that I plus plus means it's gonna increment it by 1, right? I'm asking it to print it. So here what I'm doing is I'm initializing the variable I ahead itself, and I'm directly using that variable inside my for. This is the way. For I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. So when I run this particular program, and if you look at this particular console, 1 to 10, all the values should be printed down to the console. See here, value 1 to 10, all the values are got a printed down to the console. 9, 8, 7, 6, 1, 2, 3. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All the values are got a printed down to the console. The another way how exactly we can define this particular one is, okay, directly I can use a for, and here let I as a number, I'm defining it, and console.log of I, and just a kill. Okay, so what it's gonna do, so here we are defining that I variable here itself, and I'm doing this a conditional operation, and I'm just dealing with it. So this will rotate the for loop until the I value is greater than 10 or greater than 11, basically. So what it will happen, initially I is 1, so 1 less than or equal to 10. The condition is true. It will print the value. Again, it will increment it. Now I becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to 10. The condition is true. It will iterate it. When I becomes a 10, 10 less than or equal to 10, of course, the condition is true. It will print it. Then it will increment the I value by 1, so that I becomes 11 right now. 11 less than or equal to 10. The condition is a false. Hence, it will move out of that particular loop. Now, let me try to run this program and check it out whether it is printing those values or not. See here, where is that? See here, the values are got printed down to 1 to 10. See here, the values 1 to 10 got printed down to the console. Perfectly all right. This really, working as expected. Now, what I want to do here is, so let's come back to this. So, if you look at the examples, print 1 to 10. That's perfect. Print even numbers from 1 to 20. So, I want to print the even numbers up to 20, probably. So, up to 20, whatever the even numbers are there, I just want to print it up. So, here, the point that we need to know is, how would I know whether the number is an even number or not? So the simple point is, if the number module by 2, which is equal to 0, then it's an even number. If the number module by 2 not equal to 0, which is an odd number. So here what I am doing right now is, for let I number, basically, and here I is ranging from up to 20. So I'm defining from 0 to 20. And here, what they are saying is if I module 2 is equal to 0, then it's an even number, else it's an odd number. See, I have written a simple for loop that does this particular activity. Okay, see here, inside a for loop, I have an if and as well as a else. So if I module 2 is 0, then it's gonna print that particular number. So in that situation, in this situation, I don't want an else block, guys. So I just want to print only the even numbers. Okay, so here let me add it. Below logic will print even numbers between 0 to 20. Okay, perfectly all right. Let me save this program and let me run this particular program and check it out. See here, the even number is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, like that. It got a printed down. It got a printed down. Okay, copy this for loop, comment it out, and put it here again. And let me add a comment. Print odd numbers from 0 to 20. As it is an odd number, right? I'm just starting with a 1 itself. And here not equal to. So if you remember, if it is not equal to, so that's what we have written, right? If module number not equal to 0, which itself is an odd, so here what I'm doing means odd number. Okay, and if that I module 2 is not equal to 0, then it's an, okay, then it's an odd number. Save it. Let me try to run this particular program and check out here in the console. Basically, the numbers from 0 to 20, all odd numbers are got printed down to the console. Okay, so this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. Okay, this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. Okay, perfectly all right. This is all about this particular stuff. And here, my situation, my requirement is I want to print numbers from 1 to 10. But if 5 is there, then skip the loop. Okay, or I can say skip or break. For now, then break the loop. So basically, what my first requirement is, let's print the numbers from 1 to 100, or not only 10, 1 to 100. Whenever you see 5 in that particular loop, right, the I value, just terminate it. Okay, just terminate it. So for, see here, automatically my copilot is prompting that suggestion. And here I'm just using this particular one, and see, basically, this is the one that it got. If I is equal to 5, break the loop, where in which I'm using a break statement to break this loop. Okay, let me run this particular program and check it out. Okay, it's executing. Okay, so, okay, let me save it once. Okay, if I is equal to 5, okay, let me run it and see what it is printing. It should print the numbers from 1 to 5. So it's not a printing it, breaking the loop. So here, what I am doing is console.log value of I. So it will print the values till I becomes a 5, and after becoming 5, right, it's a terminating from the loop. Though my loop value is up to 100, it's not going till there, it's just breaking that particular loop. Okay, perfectly all right, done the deal. See you again in the next session with the while loop and as well as a continue statements. Thank you. Hey. Hi everyone, welcome back. So guys, as part of the today's session, we are going to study more about while loops. So basically, for a while, if you look at the syntax, we will be specifying the condition. Until the condition outcome is true, the while will continue performing that particular operations. Okay, the while will continue performing that particular operations. So whenever that condition outcome is a false, then only the while will terminate that particular loop. So here is an example. Let I, this is of a number basically, and the value that I'm gonna define is a 1. And while I value is less than 10. So here, when I value is less than 10, then I'm printing it up. That's fine. So what it will happen, initially my I is 1. So 1 is less than or equal to 10. The condition is true. It is printing that. Again, it will perform. Again, it will perform. There is no end for that until and unless we add this I plus plus. Without adding this I plus plus, it becomes the infinite loop. So whenever you add an I plus plus, every time it will increment the I value. Every time it will increment the I value by 1, and based on that particular outcome itself, it will be performing the further operations. Now, let me try to run this particular program and check out the console here. See, the value of I is from 1 to 10. All the values are got printed down to the console. Okay, all the values got printed down to the console. Perfectly all right. If you look at the first example, print the numbers from 1 to 10. Perfect. The second example is I want to print the numbers, the even numbers up to 20. Commented out this particular logic. Let me change my I value as a 0. And here, while I less than or equal to 20. Okay, less than or equal to 20. I know in order to get the even numbers, basically, if I module by 2 is 0, then it's an even number. That's it. That's what I have just specified it. So I module less than 10. That's what I have just specified it. Now, let me try to run this particular program and just check it out. Okay, let me try to, okay, just save it. Let me try to run this program and check it out. See, all the values are got a printed down. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20. All the values got a printed down. So if I want to change it to an odd numbers, right? Copy this, comment it out, and put it back here. And this is not equal to 0. And here I'm defining odd number. Okay, here I'm defining an odd number. Perfect. Let me try to run this particular program and check it out whether those odd numbers are being printed or not. See here, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, 19. All the odd numbers are got printed down to the console. So this is the way how exactly we can use an even numbers and as well as an odd numbers. And if you come back to the previous logic, which is just printing this particular values. So let me uncomment it. So here, what I'm gonna do right now is if my I is 5, then add a breaking point and simply break the loop. So rotate this loop, but whenever the I becomes a 5, I don't want to use it, just to terminate it. So when I run this particular program, right, it will be printing the values. Let me save it. Let me run this particular program. See here, the values from 0 to 5, all the values are got printed, and then it breaks that particular loop. Perfectly all right. Hey. Hi everyone. So guys, if you remember, as part of the previous session, we were discussing about this while loop, right? So let us continue this while, with the next set, which is a kind of a do while basically. Okay, this do while is a similar set of a while itself. Let us see about a do while and as well as a continue as part of this particular session. So here I'm creating a new file basically do while example for do while dot ts. I just created this particular file. So there is a small difference between while and a do while. If you see while, initially, it is comparing the conditions. If the condition outcome is a true, then only it will proceed further. Whereas a do while, what it does means basically, it will execute the logic first, and then at the end, it will be comparing that particular conditions. So here, let me add a syntax for this particular do while so that we can better understand that. Do the logic. Okay, so do the logic here inside the do block, and at the end, while condition. So what it will happen initially for the very first time, it will enter the block, it will perform that particular operations, and at the end it will check the condition. If the condition outcome is true, it will continue with the further operations. So the basic difference between while and a do while is, if you see the while, initially it will compare the condition. If the condition outcome is true, then only it will continue, which means if a set of logic is there inside a while, until and unless the condition got passed, it won't even execute for one time. Whereas a do while, as it is comparing the condition at the end, so initially it will enter the loop, it will perform the operations for once, and at the end it will check the condition. If the condition got a fail, it will not go back to the loop. So here in the do while, it performs the operation at least for once. Okay, that's the basic difference between this particular do while. Okay, so let us see the simple example of I that we have used. Okay, so J. Okay, let J do console.log j plus plus when j is less than or equal to 10. Again, I am using a copilot features itself where I just perform the tab operation. The whole lines of a code, it got generated. Okay, perfectly all right. Let's try to hit this particular play button and see. Okay, see here, value of a j is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 1 to 10, all the values are got retrieved. Copy this, comment it up, put it here, and this time, instead of printing this particular value, what I am doing is, if j module 2 is equal to 0, then only just print it. Equal to 0 itself is an even number. We know that, right? Whenever it is equal to 0, it's an even number. So let me try to run this particular code and check it out. So, okay, let me save this code. Let me try to run this particular piece and just check it out. See here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, all the even numbers got printed. Let me comment it up, let me put it here, and this is not equal to 0. Odd numbers up to 10, even it will be printing that particular stuff. And when I run this particular code, odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, all the values got retrieved and printed down to the console. Okay, perfectly all right. So this is the way that where exactly we can use a while loop and as well as a do while. Okay, that's fine. So the next thing out over here is, what is the basic difference between while and a do while? That's we have just explained a few minutes before, right? I have explained you about a few minutes before. And when can a while convert into a infinite loop? So the point here, if you remember, as part of the while example, right? If you forgot to add this increment operator, automatically that while logic would be a kind of an infinite loop itself, right? That's what we have seen also, right? And ideally, a basic question, Surendra, in the previous session, we have studied about a for and a while, right? What is the basic difference between for and a while? So consider a situation that you need to scroll down a web page for 5 different times. So here, you know the number of times. How many times you need to scroll down? It's a 5. In such cases, you can use a for loop where you will be asking it to rotate for 5 times. Whereas you don't know how many times the page you need to scroll down. You need to scroll until the desired text should display at the bottom of the screen. In such cases, you will use a while. So this is a basic comparison where exactly you can use a for and as well as a while. And there is a one more loop is gonna be a for each loop that will be working on an arrays. As of now, we haven't studied anything about arrays, hence I'm not explaining that. That we will study as part of our next session, probably once we are done with the arrays. As of now, what I'm gonna explain here is, I'm gonna talk about the continue statement. So what exactly the significance of this continue statement, and why are we gonna use this continue statement? Basically, this continue statements, see here, even for this comment also, my copilot is giving the suggestions. See here, I just pressed a tab operation here. Okay, so this continue statement skips the current iteration of the loop and moves to the next iteration. Okay, let me try a for loop. So here the for loop is ranging from 1 to 10. And the simple thing here is if the I value is 5, skipping the iteration, and here I'm using a continue and I'm just using the I value print. So inside the for loop, without this particular logic, if you observe, it's just having an I value printing. Additionally, I'm using if I value is equal to 5, continue. If you remember earlier, we used a break. What is the significance of a break? It will terminate that particular execution. And let us see how this continue is gonna perform this operation. I saved this program and let me try to run this program and check it out. It got printed down, but 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth iteration, as the I is becoming 5, it doesn't continued further here. See, basically, whenever the I is a 5, it entered this particular one. It come to continue. Whenever the continue got encountered here, it will not go to the next line in the code. It will be continuing with the next value, which is I becomes a 6, and it will continue further. So continue with the further execution. Don't go with the next steps that you have in the code. Continue with the next value. That's the reason up to 4 it got a printed, and after that skipping the iteration got a printed, and it doesn't move to the next line, which is a value of I equal to 5. It didn't print to the console directly. The 6 got a printed as it moved out from that particular one. Okay, perfectly all right. Then the next point here is not only one value that I can say I equal to 7 or I equal to 9. So for three different I values, I just want to continue with it. So what it will be happening, skipping the iteration for I plus I. So I just want to see how this is going to work out. So when I run this particular program this time, if you look at the console, for those three iterations, 5, 7, and a 9, the I, it skipped that particular execution and the I value didn't print to the console. Perfectly all right. This is all about a continue using a for loop. So let us see how this continue is gonna work on a while loop. We need to know how exactly this continue will work on a while loop. So here let j, this is of a number, while j is less than or equal to 10. See, my copilot is prompting me this suggestion. If j is equal to 579, skipping this particular loop, and here it is incrementing, and here console.log j plus plus. So Surendra, why you have an increment operator inside this condition? Let me comment it out and let me explain you. So what it's going to happen is I is equal to, the j is equal to 1. So 1 less than or equal to 10, the condition is true. It will come inside it. It will check whether the j value is in between these or not. It's not. It will come to this line console.print j, which is a 1, and it is incrementing that one. Now it becomes 2. Again 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to 5, it's really good. Whenever it's 5, the j is a 5. It entered the loop, it printed this value, it went to continue. When it went to continue, what it will happen? We have seen that whenever it went to continue, it will not go to the next lines. So then it will go to the top. So in the while you are not incrementing it, your j value is 5 always. It's a kind of an infinite loop. It will keep on executing in that particular one. So let me save it. Let me run it and let me see the console here. The J is a 5, and on top of it, it's keep on continuing it. There is a no break at all. So that's the reason here, though it comes into this, whenever you have incremented it by 1, so the value got changed again, the iteration will continue. So that's the reason when I run this particular program for this time, see the iteration got executed successfully. So this is the way how exactly, okay, so this is the way how exactly we can use this whole concept, guys. Clear? Perfectly all right. Done the deal. So this is all about the loops and as well as okay, the continuous statements. We will continue this topic in the next session with the further examples. Thank you. Bye bye.